Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about the face-off between George Kambosos versus Devin Haney. And you know what? There is no love lost between these two. We are going to have fireworks. I feel like the animosity in this fight is bigger than the animosity between George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez. So let me just jump right off the bat with this snitch. You're a rat. You're an informant. Listen. This happens every day in business, okay? I don't know if you've ever been to Wall Street, but all it is just some inside stuff, some inside knowledge. Listen, anybody involved in war understands, having an inside guy, having somebody who's close to your enemy or your ally, having somebody close by who can feed you information. Okay, and spies are nothing new. Now, am I saying that Devin Haney is a spy? Well, from my understanding, it would look more like he's a spy than, an informant or a rat. That would suggest that him and Teofimo Lopez are like this. They're like homeboys, they're like blood brothers. And from my interactions of seeing them, they're not like that close. They're close because they're in a brotherhood of boxing. They're close because they've probably seen each other in the amateurs or something like that. But they're not close in the sense like, hey, bro, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, let's go hang out. Let's go have a double date or something like that. No, they don't do that. They don't do that. They're not close like that. And you have to understand it from a business standpoint. Let's just say Devin Haney does have some inside knowledge on the lifestyle or the life of Teofimo Lopez outside the ring. Now, if he sees that if he's seeing correctly and he's seeing a lifestyle that's going to jeopardize his life in the ring, well, then why would he be buddy-buddy with Teofimo Lopez? He wouldn't, because he knows, realistically speaking and thinking, you're not going to have those belts very long because you're not conditioned or you're not living a lifestyle outside this ring that's going to produce a long life in the ring. So therefore, let me go and partner up with George Kambosos. That would make more business sense. Let me be friends with him, and I'm scratching his back, and later on, he will scratch my back, because if he gets his hand raised in victory, he will surely call me out, and then he will repay the favor. That's called business, okay? That's not called being a rat or anything like that. That's called business, all right? Being a rat, just so we're clear, being a rat is when you have a friend or somebody who's down with you, an accomplice or whatever you want to call it, and you guys are doing something criminal, okay? And then one of you gets apprehended, you get caught, whatever. The one who gets caught or apprehended, that one tells on the other one. That's a rat. That's a rat, all right? That's a snitch. An informant is somebody who's telling on everybody's operation. Maybe he's mad because he's sitting up in state pen and he's like, I'm going to get everybody down. If I have to be in this cell, everybody's going to have to be in a cell. That's an informant. Really quick, if you like what you're hearing, please support the channel. Like, subscribe, and support the channel. There's a lot of great things that I would like to do, a lot of things that I really want to come into fruition in terms of content, but it takes your support as well as me getting up making these videos. So please like, please subscribe, and please drop some comments down below. But let's get back to this video. That's what an informant is. So for George Kambosos to refer to Devin Haney as a rat and an informant is ludicrous and silly at best. All right, is he a spy? He clearly has his eyes on Teofimo Lopez. If you're talking about his personal relationship with his lady, if you're talking about, hey, I seen him at this club. Listen, your fight is like 3 weeks away and he's in a hookah lounge. All right, yeah. Listen, that's just called, at best, that's called keeping your ear to the street. At best. But if you wanna make it more dramatic, I would say he's a spy. But I really can't call him a spy because the reality is you would have to be in Teofimo Lopez's circle in order to be a spy. So I really can't say that much. I would just say he has his ear to the street. You know, that's really what it is. Now, was it right for him to feed the information? This is business, all right? Boxing is a business. It's a hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $1 million every year business. If it's going to benefit you to get where your overall goal is, which is to be, undisputed champion, you gotta do what you gotta do. This is not a team sport. This is a very lonely sport. You're gonna get up in the morning, you're gonna run by yourself. You're gonna get in that ring and you're gonna spar by yourself. You're gonna do those sit-ups. Lord knows I don't like doing them, but you're gonna do them by yourself. You're gonna hit that bag by yourself. Sometimes everybody's gone in the gym and it's just you and your thoughts in that bag. And guess what? You're gonna hit that bag by yourself. You're gonna imagine fighting your opponent when you're lying in your bed at night by yourself. And you're gonna envision how you are going to accomplish this task by yourself. It's a very lonely sport. When you lose, guess what? You lose by yourself. When you win, everybody's like, yeah. But you're the one who bled in there by yourself. But again, there's also another side to the story. Losing. And guess what? That's a plummet all by yourself. So is it selfish, or it's a very selfish sport? In which case you have to think about me. You have to. This is not basketball. This is not football. This is not soccer. Not baseball. It's not hockey. It's not volleyball where you got to think about your partner. No, it's literally me. Me. What I want. What my goal is. Me. Okay? That's what boxing is. Me. And yes, Devin Haney was thinking about himself. And to be totally honest, if I were Devin Haney, because if he is doing this, or if he did that, which it sounds like he did, but if he did do it, listen, would you rather fight Teofimo Lopez, who's on a great standing with his wife and not hanging out in a hookah lounge, or would you want to fight George Kambosos, who's training hard and doing everything right? Teofimo Lopez is a very talented guy. And if he put on that type of performance, hanging out in the clubs and the bars and arguing with his wife, he must be a really tough dude when he's in good standing with his wife and he's outside and not going into those clubs. So, yeah, another shout out to Devin Haney for having common sense. It's like, I don't want to fight that guy. I'd much rather fight George Kambosos. Nothing wrong with that. Now, let's just get to this, the flip hand side, in which case, Devin Haney's like, you're such an actor. You're such an actor. George Kambosos has definitely gotten very vocal over the last few months. Like, he was not this vocal prior. He wasn't this vocal during his run with Teofimo Lopez and the promotion with Teofimo Lopez. Now, granted, you're the challenger. You're not going to be that vocal. And more than likely, people are not going to ask you that many questions. You're the challenger. And this is not your home country. You're a foreigner. You're a stranger in somebody else's house. So they're not going to treat you with the utmost respect or ask you that many questions. Perfect example. I mean, he did ask Devin Haney questions in the Faceoff, but it was clear that dude was totally there for George Kambosos. And as he should, it's his countryman. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, maybe we just didn't get a chance or an opportunity to see the true George Kambosos. Possibly. Maybe his personality just didn't shine or, come through. Possibly. But I get it. He is a little bit long-winded, and all his responses seem to be a little too sharp, too crisp, in which case Devin Haney is like, he rehearsed that. He's like, check his phone. Now, there is a certain credit that I want to give to Devin Haney. During all the slander that, George Kambosos was trying to put on him, you're a rat, you're a snitch, you're an informant, he just shrugged it off. Like, if you look at Devin Haney's body language, it was like, I just want to get to the fight. I could care less. And he even said it in the Face-Off. He said it. I don't care about Teofimo Lopez. I don't care about George Kambosos. I just want those belts. If there were a reason why I thought an individual was going to win, it's because the individual has tunnel vision. Devin Haney isn't looking at anything personally. He's like, listen, I don't care about Teofimo Lopez. I didn't care about his situation. I was securing a fight with you by providing you information. Now, if that's wrong, so be it. But look where I'm sitting now. I'm sitting now in the fight with you. So clearly it worked. And he's moved on for Teofimo Lopez. And then, you have George Kambosos calling him a rat and an informant. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I don't care about the slander. I don't care about what names you call me. I just want those belts. That's my goal. Nothing personal here. I just want to get to the ring, beat you up, collect those belts, and go on back home. That's the plan. So, and listen, I just gotta say how I felt as I watched the interview with the Faceoff. It just felt like the interviewer was really trying to drive home the fact that Devin Haney was without his father. In which case, Devin was like, it doesn't matter. And he's right. Again, I just said, you get in that ring by yourself. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he's like, well, if it gets hard and, you need a pep talk, which is what I said, please check out my video on the psychological look of Devin Haney and George Kambosos. And there's going to be a link in the top, so be on the lookout for that. But, yeah, so he mentioned that. And Devin Haney disposed that almost immediately. And he's like, listen, that has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, of course I would like him to be there. He's my trainer. He's my dad, but he's also my trainer. But at the same time, I'm going to be in there by myself. And I've done this 100 times before. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah, of course, the biggest moment of my life. Of course, I would like my dad and my trainer to be present. Kind of silly question is that? But the interviewer, he tried it a few times. And then he even asked George Kambosos, how would you feel if your dad wasn't there? And George Kambosos should have taken the opportunity to say how much he loved his dad and how much he appreciated his dad and how much he couldn't stand to be in a fight without his dad. Now, whether or not that's true doesn't mean anything. This is psychological warfare, people. If he were to say something like that, Devin would have to go back to his hotel room and say, hey, he's kind of right. This is the biggest moment of my life, and I don't have my dad here. Forget my trainer. I don't have my dad here. Man, that sucks. My dad's going to have to watch me on TV versus being here with me in person and feeling the electricity as I raise these belts in victory. That was a perfect and golden opportunity for George Kambosos to take that ideal and that's in Devin Haney's scenario and give him something to go home or go to bed with and think about. But I feel like that was missed opportunity for George Kambosos. Overall, I was impressed with both guys, both of them showing their definition of confidence. George Kambosos, with these possibly scripted answers, but very direct in his answering of the questions. And then you had Devin Haney just kind of shrugging things off. And he's like, dude, I'm just here for business. Once I beat this dude, I'm going to be undisputed. And he had tunnel vision. He was literally like a horse with, these just tunnel vision. And, he showed his confidence in another way. And he's just like, I'm gonna beat him. And everything was geared toward the fight. It wasn't geared toward George Kambosos' personality, much like how George Kambosos, his conversation was encamped and circled around the personality in character of Devin Haney. Devin was like, I could care less about this guy. And he gave him a few compliments. He's just like, he's a good fighter. He also said, I do this for the same reason he did it. He said, I totally agree with him. I don't like to lose. He said, and I'm not going to lose. Overall, it was a good face-off. Yeah, it was a good face-off. You can clearly tell that George is kind of coming into his own on the mic, and Devin is so over it. Maybe if his dad was present, I feel like he would be more into it, because in the past, Devin's been very vocal. He's been very outspoken, especially if you put a microphone in his face. But I think with the absence of his dad, maybe the luster isn't there. And, at this point, it's just like, it's showtime. It's business. Let me just get my hands on these belts. I can take them back home to the States And then my next fight, I can have my come out party and talk as much trash as I want and say how great I am and all that I've been through in terms of adversity. Because they didn't let my dad in the country, and I was here all by myself, and I had to face the whole country all by myself, and the crowd was booing me. And I rose up to the occasion, and I took those belts, and then I brought them back home. You know, so like I said, overall, it was a good face-off. You know, and they kept it respectable for the most part. Listen, in the end, doesn't matter what Devin Haney did or did not do. In the end, doesn't matter if George Kambosos' lines are scripted. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. They're still going to fight on Sunday. And there's going to be one winner. There's going to be one loser. And I look forward to it. Drop your comments down below.